Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Progressive Hoodie. Glad to have you all here. Um, I hope you're ready to see me flip out today because you're about to. You're about to. I have a feeling, and so we'll see. And I'll do my best to keep myself cool. I mean, language will be appropriate and all that. Won't be anything like that. But I mean, okay. We're going to be talking about the debate tonight. There is a debate on ABC. I believe it is moderated by George Stephanopoulos, David Murr, and somebody else. I don't know. Who cares? Anyway, so there's that. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to go through each of the candidates, and I'm going to give you both my strategy that I think they should employ as they go forward, as well as get into what I think you can expect to see tonight surrounding that person in the debate. So let's get into it. Let's start with Biden. Now, let's start with strategy for Biden. Now, before the Iowa circuses, okay, and that's what it was, the circuses, right? The clown show, the rat clown show, okay, that was the Iowa circuses. I would have actually probably given Biden the following piece of advice. If I was his advisor, getting paid by his campaign, I'd be like, first of all, I better be getting paid like $100,000 a month because I'm basically selling my soul here. That's first of all. But second of all, I'd be like, Biden, come here. Come here. Come a little closer. Lean in. Lean in. Okay. Let me help you with something. Here's my advice for you. You ready? Okay. Don't speak. Okay. Okay. Um, you know, we don't need you to have a moment on stage. We don't need another corn pop moment. We don't need another, moment about you talking about kids bouncing up and down on your lap and all that kind of nasty stuff. Don't look at me. He's the one who said it. I mean, we try to keep it appropriate on this channel, but we got to report what actually happens. If you don't like that kind of talk, then don't support him. He actually said it. Oh my gosh. We don't love to hear it. We don't love to hear it. So you don't speak. And whatever you do, I will come on that stage and throw this pen at you. If you even think about mentioning another candidate, do not start anything with anybody else. Do not mention any other candidates by name. You need to hide underneath that podium when it is not your turn to talk. Do not speak unless spoken to. Okay. And here's the thing. His camp knows this. Because up until now, that's what they've been doing. You wonder why he hides from the press, from the media, from really actually actively engaging, spends more time raising money, trying to raise money from the few leftover wine caves that there are that Pete Buttigieg isn't already raising money in. Do you know why? Because his camp knows that the more he talks, the more evident it is that he is not presidential material where he currently stands right now. And look, this isn't, I don't want to just knock Joe Biden overly, more than necessary. I mean, he can't handle this right now. I think there's a period of time where he could have handled it very well. He's not the most skilled politician, but if he was better, maybe there's a time where he would have been more presidential material. But he's not even presidential material right now, let's be honest, and his camp knows that. The last two debates, you notice he's been one of the people with the least amount of speaking time. The establishment doesn't do that by accident. They normally spend more of the speaking time with the establishment candidates, i.e. Amy Klobuchar. We're going to get to that nonsense, that absolute nonsense in just a minute. But they're doing that on purpose because they know that when he talks, he sounds absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. If you were watching the debate and you were like, man, it doesn't seem like Joe Biden's making that much sense. Is it just me or is... No, it's not you. Don't let him gaslight you. He's not making any sense. He sounds absolutely ridiculous. Every debate. At his best ones, he sounds like a fourth grader up there, okay? Trying to explain this stuff. And then otherwise, other than that, it's just like word salad. Complete word salad. Anyway, honestly, folks, there could be a pretty solid case to be made for the fact that if Pete Buttigieg, if Biden does actually get this nomination and win the presidency, the people in his campaign should be held criminally negligent for anything that he does during his presidency that shows that he's not ready for prime time, because he's not. He's not ready for this. Anyway, let's continue. So that's what I would have suggested for him to do, but that's not going to work now. Just being silent isn't going to work now because he's not doing well anymore. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's still the national front runner in the average of polls. I haven't checked it like today, but the last time I checked it, which wasn't that long ago, he is the national leader still in the Real Clear Politics average of polls. So let's be clear about that. However, after the debacle that we saw from how terrible his campaign did at the Iowa circuses, we know that going forward, it's not gonna work. So he needs to go for broke now. Now he does need to talk. I mean, I guess I don't know how you get him to avoid saying something absolutely stupid, but he has to talk because he can't just hide out anymore. He has to go for broke, especially against the other establishment candidates. Try to convince people that you are the one that we should go with, okay? For that establishment lane, because it's crowded. Okay, so what can we expect tonight now? Switch over from strategy to what to expect. Number one, he will be asked about electability. There's just no way around it. Like, if he doesn't get asked by electability by these debate moderators, then they're not real journalists. It's just as simple as that. You can't run around going, I'm electable, and then lose badly. I mean, the guy got curb stomped in Iowa. I don't even like him, and I actually felt kind of bad that a small town mayor actually performed better and got more of that establishment vote than he did. So anyway, he's got to be asked by that, and he will be asked by the candidates. If we get to the end of this debate and none of the moderate candidates have brought up the electability argument that he so claims that he has, that mantle of electability that he so claims he has, while he finishes fourth in Iowa and polls fourth in New Hampshire, they're running for vice president. Okay. Now, anyway, the next thing you should expect is he should be asked about Social Security, for sure. I mean, it shouldn't even take a candidate to bring that up. I mean, he just straight up lies and acts like none of us have something called the internet. Records, videos of you that get posted to the internet. We're in the age of the internet, and these dinosaurs in the Senate and House of Representatives don't realize it. I mean, by the time my group of people come along, the Generation Z people and also millennials, we're more aware of the internet, and I feel like maybe we'll be able to get away with more stuff. So I hope that we have really pure hearts and are really there to serve the people. And we can really turn this around and make Washington, D.C. what it is actually supposed to be about again, which is serving the American people, not moneyed interest. I hope we can do that before our group gets in there, because I'm telling you what, we're more proficient when it comes to this stuff. Way more. And we're really good at hiding this stuff and putting on a show. Whereas these guys aren't used to there being able to be a camera everywhere you go. So they say all sorts of crazy, dumb stuff, even when people are actually around them at the time. You go vote for somebody else, and you go vote for somebody else, and you vote for Donald Trump, and you F off. Like, what? Who runs for president like that in the age of social media? Who? Joe Biden. So, yes, once again, don't let the media make you think you're crazy. He obviously tried to freeze Social Security and tried to cut Social Security. So don't buy into the nonsense in the media spin. He is losing his marbles. He's obviously thinking that things are happening that aren't, and that reinventing history. Let me tell you, so Joe Biden does not need to be in the White House. He needs to be in a nursing home. I mean, if he can't even keep his facts straight, there's no way that he should be doing that. And let's get to something else, what not to expect now for Joe Biden. He's obviously not going to be asked about his Me Too problem, which is going to show you the hypocrisy, right? Because all throughout his entire career, we have seen Joe Biden be absolutely inappropriate, the way he touches people and all that stuff. But notice, they're not going to ask about that. But at the last debate, off of one source, they asked about Bernie Sanders supposedly telling Elizabeth Warren a woman can't be president. Yeah, you heard correctly. I said one source. There was one source. It was Elizabeth Warren. There weren't four sources. The one source was Elizabeth Warren. All the other people had heard from Elizabeth Warren. That's called hearsay. There was one source. It was Elizabeth Warren spreading her nonsense. I mean, wow. People who believe the stuff that's going on, the mainstream media is trying to propagate right now, aren't working with the full deck of cards, like at all. They're literally working with like 2 cards. Okay. Anyway, so I mean, that you'd think they would bring that up if they were really concerned about electability, because his touchy-feely, weirdy, to use a Joy Reid word. I mean, can you believe she actually used that word on national television? Weirdy. I mean, these people are supposed to be better than us, smarter than us, right? These are the elites. They laugh and make fun of us and other Bernie supporters. They think they're better than us. And she uses the word weirdy on television. Like on television, where people can actually like see it and watch it and hear her say the word weirdy. Like people saw that. Okay. Anyway, okay, so that's not a word. That's first of all. Second of all, of these 2 candidates, you're trying to tell me that Bernie Sanders is the one that's weirdy? Between Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders is weirdy. Really? Really? Not feel him up, touch him up, sniff him up, corn pops, kids bouncing up and down on my lap, feeling my hairy legs, Joe Biden. No, he's not weird. That's completely normal. But Bernie Sanders is weirdy? Bernie Sanders is weirdy. Of those 2 choices, you might actually very well be anti-Semitic. And I'm not kidding. Anyway, let's move on to Warren, okay? So Elizabeth Warren. So let's start with strategy. So what strategy would I have her employ? Well, she's got to do something to recapture the progressive lane. I honestly don't know how she would do that. That's going to be very hard because her Medicare for All backtrack, basically pretending to be Native American for so long. How can you say that you're the more progressive person when you basically take on an identity of an oppressed group of people in this country? It's just absolutely deplorable. I mean, she was pretending to be Native American for so long, people. So long, throughout her entire career, longer than I can even imagine. I mean, Elizabeth Warren just came out as white. I mean, talk about being in a glass closet. I mean, she's so white, I have to put on shades to watch the debates. And she's talking about some Native American heritage. Question: is she still? Let me ask you something. Is she still considered to be Harvard Law's first professor, female professor of color? Is she? Where the color at? Where the color at? Where it at? I want to know. When you find it, let me know. When you find Elizabeth Warren's color, let me know. It'll probably be somewhere with that job that she lost because she was pregnant, right? Or the public school her kids went to. I'm sorry. What a joke Elizabeth Warren is. You think we should run... Those of you that are progressive, seriously though, do you think that we should run that against Donald Trump? Wow. Okay. You're good at logic. Moving on. I'm sorry. What to expect? So the media wants a fight between Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. I'm sure they would love nothing more than to continue to divide the progressive lane. They'd love nothing more than that. They'd love nothing more than to have these two backstabbing each other, which, of course, we've already seen that Warren is quite proficient in that art. So, I mean, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be able to potentially rely on that. Listen, regardless of which anti-establishment candidate you support, whether you support Andrew Yang, or whether you support Tulsi Gabbard, or whether you support Bernie Sanders, or whether you still haven't woken up yet and you support Elizabeth Warren, you got to know that they're going to do everything they can to try to split that vote up as much as possible. All right, cool. So we're going to stop the video here, but there will be a part 2. In part 2, I will get into Pete Buttigieg. I will get into all the rest of the candidates and let you know what I think the strategy should be for them going forward.